But do you kind of go through the season saying, like, I want to prove a point, I want to prove that I am worth what you guys just signed me to that way?
Personally, I always play with the edge. Always a chip on my shoulder, find ways to get better.
So the Golden State Warriors decided to trade Jordan Poole, and okay, I understand that some of his antics on the court weren't always conducive to the game. At times he searched for the more fancy play compared to the easy bucket, and we all can acknowledge that Poole's NBA career didn't jump off to a hot start, as it took him some years to find his footing, and once he did, well then he digressed a little. All of this, and including the Draymond punch, made Poole's argument between keeping him or Draymond an easier choice, especially since the Warriors have built this dynasty with Draymond, and overall, he seems to be the more important piece in their eyes. Now with all of that said, although all of those things are pretty much facts, it doesn't mean the Warriors didn't build a monster in Jordan Poole and are sending him on his path to be a future star in this league. Sometimes it takes losing a certain thing to make you realize that you were taking that certain thing for granted, so then it lights a fire under you to go even harder and exceed expectations. With Jordan Poole, I feel like this is exactly what will happen with him. Poole showed many flashes of his absurd potential when he was with the Golden State Warriors, and now with a bigger role on this Washington Wizards team, he will look to prove everyone wrong. Now I already know we're gonna have some people comment and say he was only that good because of the system and the people that he was surrounded by, such as Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Steph Curry. To that, all I have to say is, did you really watch Jordan Poole? His fluidity with these moves to get to the basket and convert inside is ridiculous. His space creating when getting into his jumper is very innovative, and with his more than large amount of confidence, his deep range shooting will also cause a problem for the defense. Now look, if we're to pull up this past season stats, the numbers reflect Poole having a bad year, so it can be kinda hard to trust what he will bring to the table, but when you use the eye test as a measurement as well, you can come to a certain conclusion that the only thing that's stopping Poole from being a bona fide star is simply himself. With many tools in his bag, Poole used the amazing handle to get to where he wants on the floor, whether it's to attack the basket inside, or if he is making room to get all cozy into a smooth jump shot. Throughout his career on driving layups and dunks, Poole has converted 57% of his 662 field goal attempts, which shows you just how well he can carve his way to the basket, with this being a special part of his game. But when we flip to his conversion rate on all pull-up type jumpers, you can see it takes a big hit, only being 35% on 973 attempts. Now does this mean he can't be a good pull-up shooter? Nah, not at all, because like I said, the eye test is something you can't just discredit, and the way Poole can create for himself on the floor is truly incredible. When you're a shot creator in this league, there's many ways you should be able to get into your jumper, and the top 3 ways in my eyes are off the pure handle alone, off the screen, and off simple quick actions as well. With Poole, he simply blends all of these skills into his game seamlessly, making his game look well lubricated. These street ball like handles when Poole tests the defender's ankle show a sneak peek into the bag before he steps back to knock it down. And with just many weapons to feed the defense, this throws him off whether he's driving to the paint or if he's stepping back to knock down jumpers from the outside. On this play as Jordan comes up the floor, you can see the versatile skill set in use as he first gets into the screen action by spinning into the pick, then as Kennard cuts him off sideline, he sharply cuts back to the middle of the floor, and once met by one defender sliding over, he used the up and under to avoid not only the initial contest, but also Jaren Jackson Jr. as well. When operating around these screens, we all know Poole can create the amount of space needed to find himself a decent look at the rim, but when you really analyze his game, you can see how skilled Jordan really is in all areas. Sure, in regular motion these plays look good, but when you slow it down, you can see the through the legs behind the back pulls the defender into the screen. Then when approaching the next defender, he uses the combo handle into the hezzy cross which gets Lee in the air, and now Poole can go finish this push floater off the glass. On 8 drops to the basket a game, JP attempted 4 shots off these and converts them almost nearly 50% of the time. He may not be the quickest guy on the floor, but his burst out the handle is pretty immaculate to say the least, so when defenders press up on Jordan, he's able to sell them with a slight hezzy, sneaking in for this scoop lay. By cutting off or getting into the defender's body on the drive, it allows for Poole to extend out to place it off the glass, but these also come in handy when drawing the contact inside and being able to finish high over the defender to connect on the and one. This is just a basic level of Poole's ability to finish at the rim, because as much as some people don't like it, Jordan makes the crowd ooh and ah with some of his moves, just displaying a high level of court navigation when en route to go finish. The best offensive players have a counter for whatever the defense throws at them, and you see this in Poole, but more than just a counter, it's even better to see certain moves just be used as bait so he can then use another vicious move within the combo. Take this play for an example. Poole used the size up to then attack the lead foot of the defender, and this is all so he can get into this step back, but wait, this is all a setup so he can then feed the defender a hezzy to then blow by for the easy lay. On that previous play, you can see how this change of direction after the hezzy came fairly quick, and this is what can lead to so many easy buckets going right at the cup. Now I say easy, but these moves are actually highly effective and aren't so easy to pull off. It takes another level of agility to move the way Poole does, and I'll show you exactly why. Just knowing he can beat Nance off the dribble, Poole sizes him up before choosing his attack angle, so he dishes out this hang crossover into the middle of the floor, and already knowing he wants to get to this space within the defense, Poole abruptly pro hops while shifting his direction, and in the blink of an eye, he is at the rim putting 2 on the board. Now to increase the complexity on his drives, on this play versus New York, Poole stunts off the back foot on the handoff to burst back through the screen, which catches Robinson off guard. Now since he split through, JP has his eyes on a straight line drive, but he must change directions once again as Julius Randle is on a pursuit angle to contest him, so now it's just an elegant Euro across the lane to go grab another bucket. Sure, he can get out of control sometimes, so trust me, I understand people's frustration as it does reflect in the stat book as well. This past season, on all 8 drive attempts to the basket, Poole turned the ball over nearly 1 time on these possessions, which equated to 8.5% of the team's turnovers in totality. So tightening up that handle will only help him tremendously on these drives, as it'll only not help him from keeping it from turning over as much, but also he'll be able to shift the defenders even more with that tighter handle. If you're asking me personally, I honestly don't think it's a major concern because I believe a lot of his turnovers came off bad passing or simply just fumbling the ball. So cleaning this up shouldn't even be that much of a problem for him. We've already seen him be very effective with that sturdy handle when getting to the lane, but when you examine his ways to creating gaps between him and the defender on these jumpers, it shows you his potential to be a very high level creator on the floor. A lot of guys can't really carve out the defense in many ways when using the screen, but when you watch Poole, he uses these screens as a setup on defenders and has different options when coming off of them. If he receives the ball while running off a screen, then he can attack in that direction, getting the defense momentum swinging that way, and then in a split second, he crosses back the other way, stops on a dime while using a step back, which keeps PJ Washington backpedaling, and now Poole can rise up for the jumper. Other times if the defense hedges the screen hard like Sabonis does, Poole will feed them a quick move immediately as he used the in and out here, and then to establish more space, he used that step back to get behind the arc and knock down the tray ball. Whether it's from the mid-range, inside, or outside, when in route, Poole can make the defender's ankles all out buckle or just shift him out his way to go get a bucket. There's so many layers to his offensive versatility, but I just want to highlight the way he used his handle to dismantle the defense and how he can build on this going forward. Being with the Washington Wizards will allow Poole to flourish all the way, so I'm definitely excited to see how he grows in that system. The Warriors may have traded JP, but in that process, they have created a monster who is ready to break out. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe before heading over to watch this Stephen Curry skill set analysis. I thank you all for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.